Welcome to the No Guilt Fangirls podcast, where liking what you like is never a bad thing. Here's your host and head fangirl in charge, Patty Holiday.
Hey y'all, welcome to the No Guilt Fangirls podcast. I'm your host and head fangirl in charge, Patty Holiday. Now, back in June, we fangirled Galaxy's Edge over here. I think I did something ridiculous like 4 or 5 episodes about Galaxy's Edge, but it's because I really, really love Star Wars. And we're going to continue that whole love today. Now, why Galaxy's Edge? Because it's awesome. I mean, that's obvious, right? But we're making this return run to the Black Spire Outpost today with good reason. Rise of the Resistance, which is a brand new ride. People are saying the best ride ever, anywhere, any place that you can find ride, is opening on December 5th. And I have someone on the show today who's got a little something to say about that. Now, as a background for anyone who's new around here, I like a little Disney. Okay, I like a lot of Disney. And so fangirling the Disney parks has happened in the past on this show, and it's probably going to happen again in the future, and will probably continue until I die. Those are just the facts. Now, someone who also loves a little Disney is my guest today, and I have Mira Martin here. Hey, Mira.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Not as good as you, though. Now, to introduce you guys to Mira, if you don't already know her, she is a veteran of the Disney Parks Moms panel. She's the co-owner of the Star Wars Moms Facebook group. And she's also one of the co-hosts of The Geekly Show, which you can see every Tuesday on Facebook at 11. And she's got like 15,000 other things. I'm going to let her fill you in on everything else she does. She blogs over at fourhatsandfrugal.com. And there's a podcast too, right, Amira?
Yes. I have a podcast too. It's called A Full Life Podcast. So you can find me there.
All right. And what's your socials so people can hit you up and come follow all this content?
It's pretty much Mira Martin everywhere. The Four Hats and Frugal Facebook page is Four Hats and Frugal. So all the Facebook pages, and they have their own names. So Disney Moms of Color has a Facebook page. Star Wars Moms has a Facebook page, all under those names. But if you just want to chat with me, it's just Mira Martin on social.
All right. And you guys definitely want to do that. You want to go and watch her Instagram stories today and her Twitter feed today, because it is popping. It's got all the Rise of the Resistance information out. She is down as media, as a guest of Disney Parks for this media preview. And are you going to the dedication ceremony, or did that happen today and I missed it?
No, you did not miss it. And we did find out that we will be attending.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's going to be pretty cool.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, then, yes, you guys definitely want to go ahead and pay attention to everything that Mira is saying to you if you happen to be a Star Wars or Disney Parks fan. All right, real quick, just as a quick reminder, for those that haven't met Mira before, there is a Batuu episode. She was actually one of the first people that got to go to Batuu in Disneyland. And so I had her on, and she kind of gave her feelings of the whole land. And you're going to want to listen to that and that one's a little bit longer show because we were covering the entire land. Today, we're really just going to talk about Rise of the Resistance. And, but I want you to go listen to that one too. So you get a feel for like just how nerdy and Star Wars loving she is. Because you guys have got to see the videos. Her face is glowing and beaming as only somebody who has experienced something pretty phenomenal in their life can portray. And I was thrilled that she actually had some free time to talk with me today, because I wanted to talk to her like in the moment. What's your Star Wars history? I know that it started with a little Star Trek, and then we took a hard left to Star Wars. So just remind folks who haven't heard that episode about your Star Wars story.
Sure. So my dad and I used to watch, well, we still kind of do, sci-fi movies and shows, and that was our thing. So as I was growing up, that was the thing that I was assigned to do with Dad. And of course, he is a big Trekkie. He still loves Star Trek. So whenever there was a Star Trek movie, we would go. I was his date to go see those things. And obviously we watched the show. So Star Trek: The Next Generation was our show together. And then when I turned 8, my dad, it was basically kind of I'm proud of you, kid. Now you get to see like the good stuff. He said, you know what, it's time for you to see Star Wars. So we sat down, we watched A New Hope, and he lost me. I was done after that. I was a big, giant Star Wars nerd after that. And we still watch Star Trek stuff together because that's his jam. But I fell in love, and I have been in love since the age of 8. So it's only gotten worse, as it usually happens when you're a fangirl of such things. Is that
I tell you what, yeah, it does. I mean, but your Star Wars love, has taken you far. Like were you in? Was it a commercial, a Kohl's commercial, a Target commercial, a parade layout, all with Star Wars related themes, right? I mean, like you've got some legit opportunities to show off your fandom, and yeah, Star Wars has been good to you.
Yes, it has been very good to me. Yeah, it has been surreal to be able to be a part of that type of stuff where, you can show off what it's like to be a fangirl of things like that, where, sometimes we're not always represented in certain fandoms, and to kind of be the face of that, we fangirl hard over things, and it's not all about the boys.
Nope.
What we're talking about, and we have an obsession with things to the points where we know all the details and all the backstories and all the canon, and it's fun to represent our community in that way, and these, big giant things like commercials and features and things like that, and kind of say, like, shout it loud that, we know our stuff too. And we need to be represented, and we need to be celebrated as fangirls. So it's been cool to be able to do that every once in a while.
You are an awesome Star Wars fangirl ambassador, and I am so happy that I know you and that you're in my life. All right, so the good stuff. Let's talk about this. Okay. What happened this morning? Tell me, like, start from the beginning. You walked into Galaxy's Edge. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? I want the juicy details.
Okay, well, this was my first time doing Batuu East. So
that's right.
Yeah, so it was like double whammy for me early this morning. It was about 7 a.m. They gave us media access to the park at 7 a.m. So we got to go straight into Galaxy's Edge right at that time. We weren't sure if we were going to have access to Rise of the Resistance this morning. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like okay, we're giving you access, so show up and we'll see. And most of us were smart enough to show up at 7 a.m. because if you say you're opening up a park just for us, we need to show up. So we were pleasantly surprised that as soon as we got there, they gave us access to go in and actually enjoy Rise of the Resistance. It's I don't want to give away a ton, even though I know as of this point, there's like a ton of videos and all types of stuff.
There's loads of videos out there, and like, don't spoil anything. Mm-hmm. However, because I like spoilers. You and I can talk about it later, but not everybody does. So yeah, I agree. Try not to spoil too much, but you can give some of the stuff that has been widely shown. Like, for example, those stormtroopers. What's up with those stormtroopers? Tell me about that.
Okay, well, we got permission to share up until you actually experience the ride. So Disney has given us the okay on that. And there is a long queue. So I will tell you guys that the queue is pretty long, and not long as in you're waiting a long time. It's a whole experience. Like Smuggler's Run, for those of you who've been on that one. I know, Patty, you've experienced it. The queue isn't long. Like, you stop in the one room with Hondo, mm-hmm. and then you go down the corridors and things like that, and then you get your cards and you are in the room where you can play sabacc and all that fun stuff. But Rise of the Resistance is even more of an immersive experience than that.
Okay.
So I think I counted My count may be off. By the end of this evening, I will know because my goal is to ride it 20 times today, and I'm not kidding. I believe there's about 4 different queue rooms. And then the Stormtrooper room that everyone's been seeing, I did a little video of that, and I put it up on Twitter today. That's your last technical queue room where you're experiencing something. The next thing that you do is that you're actually waiting in the queue for the ride. So
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So that's why they're allowing us to show you guys all the little queue rooms and all that other stuff, because in each queue room, you're learning more about the mission and what you're about to embark. But it's also you waiting your turn, but it doesn't feel that way. Like Disney does a very good job of having us wait for things, but not having it feel like we're waiting for things. And that's exactly what the queues are designed to do. They're designed to show you little clues about what may be coming up in your experience, give you information. One queue, you do talk, Ray talks to you and tells you about the mission. I think that's been pretty widely known already. There is a certain character that I won't say yet, that you do see in one of the queue rooms, to not give it away, so you guys will have fun with that. And then there's another queue room where you wait and you kind of see like a map of where you're going to be going. And then there's, I think, one more queue room that isn't all that interesting.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, 1 out of 4, right?
Yes. And then there's another one that I won't give it away, but you do, you are put in a very compromising position.
Okay.
You do get a little visit from, Patty knows, my boyfriend.
Yes, your boyfriend.
My boyfriend, Kylo. And then you're waiting in that room, and then something amazing happens. And where it all starts. Something happens, you're able to get ready to go on the ride, which is trackless. That's widely known right now, too. It is a trackless attraction. So for those of you who've been on maybe Toy Story Mania, Midway Mania, you know how we're turned back and forth and things like that, but it's still on a track. This is trackless. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, that's also trackless. So you may have seen videos online of that if you want to kind of get an idea of how a trackless attraction works. But it is phenomenal. You don't know where to look. There's so much going on as soon as the ride starts. There's so much going on. You don't know where to look. And since
now, I'm gonna interrupt you for 1 second.
Go ahead.
Go back to that moment where something happens and then you get on the ride. I have in my head,
yes,
because I've seen some of the discussion online and I've been stalking all of you guys. But I have in my head, like, kind of like it's an urgency thing. Like now you need to load up and we need to go. So does that kind of happen quickly at that point?
Exactly. That is exactly what happens.
Cool.
Yes, the way that you're set up is everybody kind of has a color. So whatever your color is, that's how you are embarking onto the attraction. So that kind of, and then it's like, remember your color. Like as soon as that thing happens, before you get onto the attraction, they go, remember your color. All right, guys, let's go. So it's kind of, it is a sense of urgency. It's like, oh my gosh. And you have to just remember what you're doing. You have to remember your mission. You're hopping in, you're seeing all the other, there like other carts there. It's not just you. So you can see that there are other passengers in other stations getting ready to go on the same mission as you.
And that's different than, like, say, you've been on Spider-Man at Universal Studios.
No, I've never been.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you done Transformers at Universal Studios?
I've never been to Universal Studios, Florida.
Girl. All right.
No!
We need to fix that. All right. I just, on those rides, you don't see other carts.
Oh,
and so that's what I had in my head when I was trying to. So this sounds like, though, you're going to see multiple while you're riding this. You're going to see other people.
Yes, you do see other people. You at least see one other car.
Okay, cool.
And the cool thing about this isn't going to spoil anything for you guys, but it's important for you to know because you have to ride it more than once. There are 2 experiences, at least 2. I haven't seen more than 2. I think it's just the 2, but they're both different. So you have to ride it more than once and make sure that you get the different experience. we just happened to, my second time around was the different one. I don't know how I got the luck of the draw of that. So I've experienced both, and they are totally different. Both are extremely fun, and both have the surprise elements to them as you're writing it. So you do have to write it more than once. I know you guys are going to be like, oh, I got to send that line again. Yes, you do. Because you have to. It's part of the storyline that you see both of those experiences.
All right, I'm just going to hit pause show. I'm going to pack real quick while you're talking. Go ahead. I'm just going to pack up because I need to go to Disney World like now. Like now. I need to, I'm going in January. I'm such a brat. I'm going in January, but this is making me go, oh my gosh, I want to be on this thing now. I had the opening day experience at Batuu East when that opened, and it was unreal. It was crazy. So I just know what people are in store for tomorrow when they show up and line up dark early in the morning to get on this ride. And your description of it just has me totally captivated. Okay, go ahead. Just don't mind me. I'm packing, but go ahead.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. I will address the drop because, it's been all over the place and people are like speculating. So there is one. I will confirm that. It is not drastic like they say. It's nothing like Pirates of the Caribbean that everybody keeps saying. It's not like that at all. It's, oh my gosh. Okay, this won't be giving it away. But if you've been on Tower of Terror, it's definitely not as drastic as that. But it's a fun little blip that, even smaller kids will enjoy the little drop that you get. It's an essential part to the story. So I can't tell you why you do a little tiny drop. But it's such a cool drop. And then what happens after the drop is even cooler. And it completes the story for you. And the ending of the ride, again, I'm not going to spoil anything. You won't see that coming. You'll be like, what just happened? It's happened. I've written it 3 times now. And every time that part happens, I'm like, where are we? And what just happened? And you just don't know what to do. And then you just got to get off the ride. You get off and then that's it. That's all it is. And you're like, I need to do that again. What just happened?
Do you feel like, do you feel like it ties into this little movie that's coming up? Do you feel like there's a tie-in to it? Are super savvy Star Wars peeps going to ride this before they see the movie and start putting out those spoiler alerts? Or what do you think about that?
It definitely ties in.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything that is that I don't think they put anything in it as of right now that will speculate to what we're going to see when Rise of Skywalker comes out.
Okay. Okay.
I will say, because I discussed this with a couple of other media people here, they definitely have the opportunity to change it up and plug in some things after we've seen the film. There are a lot of places within this attraction that they can totally change it up, maybe do a different overlay, or just like make it a different experience that you see when you turn a corner. They've done an excellent job of giving themselves the opportunity to do those little Easter eggs after we've seen this film.
Awesome. Okay. Well, now I don't want to rush time because I hate to do that. But at the same time, I need December to start kicking its pace up a little bit because I want to see this movie. And then I'm not going back to Disney World until January. So I need to get there and go stand in line. Okay. Here's my question. So standing in line, we know there's going to be a line. We know there's going to be this wait. What's your recommendation? Do you think... Say for somebody without kids, okay, somebody like, I don't know, me, who is showing up, the trip that I'm going on is without kids. So I'm showing up. It's just an adult. How long would you say an adult should give themselves to wait? Like what's worth it? What time frame is worth it standing in line?
Okay, so oh my gosh. I mean, obviously I'm going to say anytime.
Well, yes, but say you're a Star Wars fan. Let's go from a Star Wars fan. What's a good time for the Star Wars fan?
I don't think the line's going to be longer than 3 hours, just the way that they've set up the queues and the different queue rooms. I think that's their goal, is to make it so that way it's not like the 4-hour wait or anything like that. But if they tell you it's like a 3-hour wait, I would just wait. I would wait it out because they can move up the queues. Like you can not stay in a room as long, which is nice.
Right.
Or they can keep you in a room a little bit longer. You'll never even know that you're just chilling in that room. So I think I have a funny feeling they're going to make this a queue that it's going to be extremely long on the first day. It just really is. But they're going to try to push people through as soon as they can through each queue. So you do have enough time to experience the queue room, but not as much time as you would if the line was a little bit shorter, if that makes sense. So
that totally makes sense. And I like that also kind of gives you the flexibility. Like if you're the kind of person who really just wants to get through the line, then you can, not push through the queue, but I'm assuming that in the room you can go and kind of stand by the door. So you'll be the first one through and they start letting people go into the next line and go through the next queue and such. But if you're a person who needs every single detail to soak it all in, you can linger a little bit and look at all the stuff in the like holding rooms, right?
Right, exactly. And the transport too, which is also widely known, there is a transport part where they're transporting you to your next destination. And that's another version of the queue because you can only fit maybe 20 or 30 people. I think it might be 30 people in the transport. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of narrowing things down, and they can keep going with the transports. It doesn't slow anybody down. And just even in that stormtrooper room, if you guys have seen the photos and the videos of that, you can see it's pretty substantial. So you can get a good amount of people in there. It reminded me of Great Movie Ride. Do you remember Great Movie Ride where they would put us kind of in the lines, the queue before we would go in? Where all the old heads like us, if you remember that, before you actually went in to enjoy the Great Movie Ride, there was like a line queue and you would just stand. That's what it reminded me of, except without lines. It's just an open room and the stormtroopers there are hundreds of them staring at you. And you get to take photos, and that's when you're going to do all those photo op thingies. So that's what it felt like. That's kind of what it felt like in that room. But they do have that option of moving your transport, getting those people in quicker or slowing it down because of the amount of queues that they have. So yeah, I would say 3 hours. If you can do 3 hours, just, give it a go. I would
just do it. All right. Cool. All right. Well, next question. Does Batuu feel complete now? Because that was a lot of the initial complaints, not from you, not from me. I loved every second that I spent in there. But there was a lot of people that felt like, you only wanted to be in and out and you didn't want to stay. You didn't want to linger, yada, yada, yada. Right. I never felt that. Every single time, guys, I never went to Hollywood Studios. I would go in and go out in order to ride 1 or 2 rides and then leave. I never, ever, ever lingered in anywhere, even Toy Story Land, which I really adore and think is adorable. Mm-hmm. But Batuu, the last 3 trips that I've been to Disney, I've spent more time in Batuu than I have anywhere else. And that includes Magic Kingdom. And that's like unheard of for me. So my question is now, do you feel like this might kind of, seal the deal for anybody who is on the fence or who wanted to wait? Like now, are you saying, oh yes, now if you were waiting, it's worth the wait. You need to come now because Batuu feels good. Or are you guessing that there's still going to be some folks out there? I mean, there's always going to be people that are going to complain, but do you feel like there's a justified, still not quite what we were promised or what we hoped for? Or, how does Batuu feel to you now that we have this main ride up and running?
It does feel, I don't know if I want to use the word complete, because it's kind of like, it feels like that the story can continue for us. Mm-hmm, like, I feel like we were stalled a bit. I mean, it's nice to kind of walk around and you see Rey and you'll see Chewie and, Kylo walking around stormtroopers. That's cool. And then you can go get something to eat. That's cool. And, you can ride on the Millennium Falcon, which is awesome. But then afterwards, like after you've done those types of experiences, there's something else that you need to continue your story in Batuu. And this is the perfect way to continue the story in Batuu. And if you want to come in and make your own day out of it, this is what we needed. It really is what we needed to make a day out of experiencing this land. So once you're done with it, yes, it's cool that you'll be done with it. You can go out and you'll start seeing these characters that we know and love and, see in the attraction walking around and doing those things. And you can go take your photos and you can go be even more connected when you're, searching out that piece of merchandise. It definitely helps us continue the experience that we wanted to have in that land. And it would have been cool to have everything open at once. It really would have.
Yeah.
And I know that's what they were trying to go for, because now I get why they wanted to go for that, because
for sure.
This would have been outrageous to have all of this done at one time. It would have been overwhelming, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
So I can appreciate that they worked tirelessly to make sure this was perfect before they opened it, because it is beyond this attraction is beyond. But now that everything is up and running, it feels like this is going to be a place that people will actually make all of their plans, because they want to go to Batuu in Disney World, and obviously in Disneyland when it opens in January. Like, now I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. The vision, you get the whole vision. And if this had been able to all open all at once, like, wow, like there would have been no questions. People wouldn't have been throwing this shade around and complaining about certain things, because that would have kind of sealed the whole deal. The impact of it all would have been just that much greater. But you know what? As somebody who did get to go to Batuu when it didn't have Rise of the Resistance, I'm okay with the fact that, because I was still blown away. And like you said, it might have been too much. Like, people like you and I might have just been laying on the ground going, I'm never leaving. They would have been having to haul us out of there and say, guys, you can't stay anymore. We need to make room for everyone else. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time. I know you're at Disney. I know you've got a ton of other stuff going on. You're learning about all kinds of things. And I know that everybody who listens here is probably listening because they dig the Disney stuff too. So guys, I'm just going to throw this out there again. Please go follow Amira. Give her some retweets, give her some hearts, give her some likes, give her some swipe ups when she starts posting her blogs, because you're going to want to read in more detail. And there's a lot coming to Disney 2020 and beyond. And I know you've got some of the scoops. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. Thank you, friend. Thank you so much for that shout out. I will.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, this is going to wrap up the segment of the No Guilt Fangirls podcast. I had a ton of fun talking with Amira, as always. And guys, if you liked what you heard today or on any of the other episodes, please remember to leave a review and to subscribe. This helps other fangirls find us. And it's no fun to fangirl alone. So we want more. Feel free to share this out also with your friends. And there's no spoilers, so you don't have to worry about, upsetting people who don't like that. And if they do like that, well, they can come talk to me in January, because I'm going to spoil everything by then. Don't forget also that every Monday, I bring you the Monday Movie Minute. I didn't do it this Monday because Thanksgiving was too precious to even think about doing anything but staying on the couch. That is literally what we did all weekend long, and it was amazing. So there was no Monday Movie Minute this week, but there will be one next week, okay? And thanks again for hanging out with us in a galaxy far, far away. Thanks, Amira.
You're welcome.